Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone to another edition of Meet the Candidate. And I just want to remind everybody that our goal here is to kind of get to know each of our candidates on more of a personal level and to find out who they really are. And we're going to do all of that in about 15 minutes. So today we are here with Warren Davis, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, sir, and then we'll get right to some questions.
Well, great. Well, hi, I'm Warren Davis, resident here of Mansfield with my wife Terry and our three kids, Capri, Warren III, and Jonathan. And I'm a candidate for the MISD trustee place number 6 position.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to start with where were you born and raised?
So interesting. My hometown is Atlantic City, New Jersey, a little ways away from here. I moved around a lot as a small child due to my father's vocation, traveled across the country, but was primarily raised in Atlantic City, although we had some stops along the way.
Okay. And what was your very first job?
Wow. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts in Atlantic City, New Jersey, my hometown. Some former Pop Warner football coaches of mine were managers of that Dunkin' Donuts, and they gave me my first job.
All right. And
Yeah.
what is it that you do today?
I'm on the human resources team for Dallas College, as we are in our consolidation into one college, a single college district. I'm in an interim role leading our recruitment of employees across the entire college system. Previous to that, I was the executive HR leader for the Cedar Valley campus.
Okay. And have you been in the HR field for a long time or?
Yeah, just about 30 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It has been. It's been a good time.
Okay.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, do you have a favorite subject from your school days?
Yeah, initially I went to school to be an accountant. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. I was pretty good with figures. And then I took that first accounting class, Lori, for accounting majors and realized maybe accounting wasn't for me. And actually, interesting enough, it was the accounting law that I just didn't jive with. However, the law associated with treating people well from an employment perspective really resonated. It just kind of made sense. There are child labor laws, there are laws about what type of work environments, conditions things need to be, and that just made sense. How do you treat people and how do you treat people better? Which kind of led me awkwardly enough into exploring human resources and the psychology around it, and here we are 30 years later. That has been my vocation.
Wow. Okay. So, do you have a personal hero?
So, I tend to default to folks like, family members, but I would tell you something a little different I've been thinking about here lately. If you can imagine a figurative mother, right? So I've been really blessed throughout my life. In addition to having parents and family members who've been in my life, I've had this neighborhood mother. It seemed like wherever I've gone to in my life, there's been some woman, some older gentleman who's just kind of pulled me aside and poured into me, encouraged me, held me accountable. Like, you're better than that, you're bigger than that, you need to move in this way. But I've just been really blessed, right? Not just within my family, but it seems like everywhere I've gone, there's been somebody who's been placed in my life to encourage me that way.
Wow. So, if there was one person, and let's just say maybe from your family or a memory that stuck with you, what's had the biggest impact on your life?
Yeah, just my parents. Like I was the oldest of their kids, and it was just a standard that, you know, you need to do better. Your younger sister's watching you, and being held accountable. Right? I don't really care what's going on in the neighborhood. I don't care what the other fellas are doing. The proverbial, if they jumped off the bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge too? There just weren't any excuses, right? And I didn't. Here's the good news: I didn't have to have it all figured out. I just had to get going,
Yeah.
You know, I try to encourage my children the same way. You can figure it out better by moving than sitting still.
That is so true. And I think so many people get caught up and wrapped up in thinking about stuff that they don't do anything. But you're right. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, kind of paralysis analysis, right? When you
Yeah.
just get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's the one thing that you want to achieve before you die?
Wow.
Not that you're going to die soon, Warren.
Yeah, and I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not.
Yeah.
Right. So I used to have a lot of things, Laura, that used to come to mind. But really, the last few years, I've just kind of wrestled and settled, I should say, on this one thing. Um, at the end of the time, I'm going to get a chance to meet my Maker, and He's going to ask me what type of husband, father, and servant I was. Now, of course, He'll have to answer, right? But that's where it's at. Everything else will happen as part of the journey,
Okay.
right? Everything else, where I travel to, the people I come in contact with, the experiences I have, at this point in my life will all come as a result of what type of husband, father, and servant I am.
How would you describe yourself?
Wow. I tend to be a little introspective, right? Spend a lot of time in thinking about things,
Uh-huh.
really because I just don't want to do any harm to anyone. My faith is kind of, my foundation, and so I try to move from that place. Um, I like to have a good time. I like to have people around me having a good time, and I just kind of feel like it's my job and my role to kind of help facilitate that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, if there was someone that you could have a conversation with, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I had a chance to meet my great great grandmother on my father's side. So my father's paternal grandmother.
Okay.
We all called her Grandmom Helen. And Grandmom Helen had actually been born a slave, and at that time was well into her hundreds. And I had a chance, as fate would have it, to spend some one-on-one time with her. She lived by herself, if you will, in front of her daughter's place. So the family had bought up the property around their childhood home and allowed her to kind of still live in that space by herself. And I had a chance to spend some time with her there. Of course, at that young age, I didn't quite understand or appreciate the experiences that come from living for over 100 years of age. But I would love to spend time with my grandma Helen just to get a feel for all the things that she had a chance to see and witness in her life. And Lord, I will tell you, it was pretty remarkable. She had no bitterness inside of her. She had nothing but a bunch of love. My grandma Helen, yeah, that would help me a great deal, I think, in terms of just keeping things in perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting how we don't appreciate the fact when we're young, the
Yeah,
kind of wisdom that the elderly have.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Mhm.
So if you could travel back in time, where would you go?
Back in time, would I be have to get impacted by what I was seeing?
Now
Yeah.
we'll pretend that this is what is that Christmas where
Okay.
Scrooge. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
you can just observe. Where would you go?
I'd love to go back to the Harlem Renaissance,
Okay.
at the time where there was this amazing music and art and song and folks. I'm so sorry with the phone. Moving forward in life and just exploring life differently.
Yeah.
Right? For some reason, that just popped in my mind. The Harlem Renaissance period.
Okay. All right. Good. So, if you were to give one piece of advice to somebody, what would it be?
Be kind. Be kind.
I think
Really.
that's good.
Yeah, be kind.
Good. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for participating in this, and look forward to seeing you at the candidate forums. And thank you very much.
Lori, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. This was fun. It didn't
Good.
hurt too much.
Good. 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 Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.